Good afternoon. It is 3:52 on Sunday, August 27th, 2023, and I am Pete Dragstrom from LetPetePlan at gmail.com. I'm an agent for Boardwalk Travel Agency, and I'm here with my lovely wife.
I'm Jule Dragstrom. I am an independent boutique consultant for Style Dots. You can find me at Jule, JULE.styledots.home.com. You can even find me selling a little Mary Kay on the side. You go to www.marykay.com/JuleD.
And we are going to the animal kingdom today, and maybe sometime this week. I don't know. Maybe. Sometime in the near future we might head back to the animal kingdom. We haven't been to the animal kingdom in a while. But it is somebody's favorite park, and I'm not going to mention who. It's not me, by the way. And it's not him back there. And we do have in-studio audience.
There we go.
Say hi, Wyatt. Hi, Mick. He's busy with Mick. But it is actually, I will have to say one thing, and this is just that is one of my favorites to go and take pictures at.
I understand that.
Photography. I've got some really cool pictures, and I've shared them so many times on social media that they're just really cool, and they're ones that you can joke with somebody and say, "Oh yeah, I took that in my backyard. That tiger or that."
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. But it is the best, in my opinion. It's the best place to go to learn about wildlife.
Yeah, it really is.
A lot of people will say, "Oh, there's so many zoos." Well, zoos are really. I mean,
they're nice. They've got pictures of things, but they don't tell you much.
And the other thing is that with Animal Kingdom, they're in their natural. It's as much as in their natural habitat as any other place that I can ever think of.
Okay, some of you from Illinois might say Wildlife Prairie Park, and yes, you're right.
Wildlife Prairie Park is
very much similar. It's just smaller.
But it's also animals that would be there.
Yes.
These are from animals from all over the world. I mean, you see lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
Yeah, thank you. I know she'd get to it. Actually, you don't see too many bears. You do see a lot of lions. Well, not a lot of lions, but you see lions and tigers, and you do see a lot of.
Well, you are looking
birds.
You're looking a lot at Africa and Asia,
right?
And so it's kind of where
two of the
you're
largest
at.
continents in the world.
That's where you're at. So that's really if you. I'm going to give you a little bit of heads up with tips, and I think he'll probably give a few too in here. But one of them is the tree that you see that is the emblem for, if you look at anything that says Animal Kingdom, you'll see a tree. That tree is actually real. It is there. It was handmade. Mm-hmm. It is also covered with almost every animal you can pretty much see in there, I do believe. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if you get up close, you see all of those things hidden within that tree base. So,
it's actually made out of an old oil rig.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But it is called the Tree of Life, and it is one of the
really cool.
I love my castle. I love the Magic Kingdom. I love Cinderella's castle. But this is probably my second most photographed icon of the parks.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, yeah, you have Spaceship Earth.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not. But I mean, literally just wanting to go and take pictures of that icon.
That tree has so many intricate details to it that it would take you forever to even get all of the details.
You can get the wide angle shots and see the whole tree, or you can try to zoom in
and
or have a big zoom and just see all the individual animals that are in there.
Here,
It is the largest park.
Okay.
So that goes into my next tip. Be prepared to walk.
Lots of
walking. It's probably the biggest. This and for walking, this and Epcot are two of the most walked. And I think this one has more because it's just so expansive.
It takes up a lot of space.
And so wear good shoes.
And with that, I'm gonna throw in a tip, only because I think a lot of people. I mean, you think about this at the other parks, but maybe not as much here.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's shaded. I'm good. You need your sunscreen, folks. Still there because there are a lot of areas where there's not as much sun or not as much shade for you. And also, don't forget the bug spray. And I tell you that I have never had a problem there. However, I have been reading up on a lot of folks who are getting bit by a specific mosquito. It is a striped little looking thing that I've seen online, and it's numerous people. It is, I think it's a native to Florida, but it is biting and it's causing pain. It actually hurts when it stings. So it's a little like a sting, but it is a bite. And so it's kind of a little
I'd always wear some kind of bug spray in any of the parks, even though Disney does a very good job of protecting people from, that's why you see so many, and so many other types of animals that will kind of prey on the stingers.
And they do, folks. Disney has ways to keep away animals that maybe you may think of bugs. They have sounds that bother insects that will keep them away. They also have sounds and triggers, especially like for bats. They were talking about this online the other day about a sound that these kids kept hearing and they couldn't figure it out, and then began to realize it came from two little what looked like monitors above them, and what they were was their bat repellents because of the sonar. So, but
you also want the bats to kind of feed on the bugs too. But,
right. So you need a little bit of all of it, but you need them to be kind of in their places and not scaring the people that are there.
Couple other things. One thing I will tell you: if you want to see the animals, go early
or late. Very late, like closing time late.
Even though it is usually the first park to close at night before the sun goes down. Because the animals have to, they live, and that's why there's no fireworks there. A lot of it is for the animals, but especially in the summertime, if you want to go and see, actually just go and take pictures of animals on, whether it's the safari or somewhere else in there. Early is always better because they're more active.
They are. And the late time, when I say late, if you're talking like the place is closing at 8, you're a lot of times, I think one of the last times is like in 7 o'clock-ish, something like that is the last ride for the safari. And so take that ride if you're going to do it, because don't take it any earlier or you won't see anything.
Always be aware of your park hours also. That's another tip.
Definitely.
And I would have to say, because of one of the attractions, I would always also say, bring a spare pair of shoes.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But always, for tips and stuff.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
And be hydrated. That goes along with a lot of the stuff that we've said.
You're going to find some really unique shopping, folks. So don't buy all your stuff early and think you're not going to see anything in Animal Kingdom. That is not true, because there's a lot of really unique stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit down the road too. They have a very strong quick service. As far as food is concerned, there's quick service is some of the better quick services that you can get, especially like compared to them and Hollywood Studios. I would go quick service any day at Animal Kingdom over Hollywood Studios. And I love Hollywood Studios, don't get me wrong, but quick service just is fantastic. And then I also wanted to tell you, when you get there, guest relations, if you're interested, is right after you go through the gates to your left. And the reason I tell you that is because it kind of sets back a little bit, and it's not always easy to see. If you don't go to your left and you go toward the right, because you can go left or right, you may not catch the guest relations area.
And I'm going to be talking about going through the guest up through the opening a little bit more when we start talking about characters and other things. Okay. But also where Jule's talking about, if you are going in and you go to your left towards
toward Africa.
Well, not even. I mean, even before you get into there, what's the restaurant?
Toward Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe. Thank you. I knew it
on
began
that
with
side
an
of
R.
that.
I was trying to say Rainbow or something.
Rainforest Cafe was on your left. On your left there.
Yeah. So if you go in there, that area and stuff. And okay, so do we want to talk about food right now? Let's go ahead and talk about food.
Okay, I was expecting rice, but
no, let's go food first.
Okay, that's food. We can go there. I'm good.
As Jule said, it has a lot of good
quick service. The sit down, they have a couple. Usually on the higher end. Yeah. Their sit downs are more expensive.
Yeah. Well, there's three main sit downs that really require reservations. Actually, there's more than that. I'm sorry,
there is the one we went to last has probably been my favorite of those sit downs.
And it's probably the most expensive.
And it is. Well,
we mentioned one of them already.
Yeah, it is Tiffin's.
Yes.
Tiffin's, I thought, had some really cool decor. That was a really neat thing. There's a lot of artifacts and things.
A lot of artifacts of when they were building Animal Kingdom
and what you see, and some information from people who passed away. Even some of them are no longer with us, and they've got some really interesting information on all.
Or
of
left
that.
the company.
Or left, yes.
But yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about Animal Kingdom's history,
it's a really good place.
And you want to and you don't worry about, the price and stuff. It's a good restaurant. It's got some very good food.
It's an African, Asian, and Latin taste, but it does have a really good mix. I was noticing, it's got veal, it's got chicken, it's got fish. It's got a little bit for everybody. It's not like one thing or another. I will tell you, I think the portions were a little small for some things.
They had lunch.
But you still kind of want to go, okay, this is what I got. For the price you get, you're like, I don't know that one. More. It kind of depends on.
I would have to say, for quality of food, Tiffin's is probably is better best, quality. Is the best at Animal Kingdom.
I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, and really the only thing that's really holding it back is the price. And you're going to pay that kind of money for that kind of food at Disney all the time. So I really don't hold it against them. Except I wish it was cheaper. I'm not going to be going. I'm not going to be going back as much.
Well, here's the thing: some of those others that have that price point, they'll give you a little bit more for that price point. I feel like.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I felt like. I felt like they stuck to the lighter side of the whole thing, but maybe that was just lunch too.
Definitely, when the dining plan does come back, it'll be a 2 credit meal.
Oh yes, easily.
It'll definitely be that.
And there were plant-based folks. I did notice there were a couple plant-based things.
I'm noticing that with almost any restaurant in Disney anymore, is that they have a good selection of.
Well, I didn't call that good. It was good. 2. That was only 2.
But they're having more of a selection of plant-based stuff. Now the other. Well, I'll go with the other one, Tusker House, which is a buffet, and it is a character buffet. You have basically the Fab Five. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, and Goofy. And they're all in their safari outfits, and they come around, and and it's a very good interaction with them.
Well, it's nice. There's a lot of space. There's like
There's
the
a lot of
tables
space.
are almost all of them the rectangle shape, so you've got a lot of space in between everything. So you're not like really taking up a whole lot of room for that. I didn't.
Yeah, myself and my two boys went one day when we took a boys trip to Animal Kingdom, and we ate at Tusker House, and we had a good time because, as I said, the food is your basic buffet food, but it has a
It has a bit of you have an African,
more of an
African fare
in there. Kind of reminds you of and this we'll probably talk about it when we talk about resorts someday. Kind of reminds me a little more of what you would get in Animal Kingdom Lodge at like Boma.
Yeah.
Might not be as good as Boma, and again, we haven't talked about that later.
But we will.
But if Boma had characters and a little less
it's the food. I was gonna say the food. I think here, it is a lot of your typical fare, and I do because you're also getting the interaction. Of course, I think the food doesn't. It's different than Boma because Boma is always their concentration is like always like making sure everything is changed out, it's the right temperature, and not that you don't get it at a good temperature, but they might wait a little bit longer because you're worried about it.
I will tell you, there's a lot of times when a family goes to a character meal, and they're going and they're paying at a fairly good price. And the only reason they go is for the characters.
That's
because
not this.
Because the food. Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to trade the character interaction for the food. This is not it. The character interaction's great, and the food is good.
Yes.
I wouldn't call it great. But then again, there's not too many buffets that I would say are great.
It is one of the better buffets. You do get stuff outside of your typical fare, so it is nice.
Yeah, if you have a lot of picky eaters, they even have stuff for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Others, I guess we go table service. Yak and Yeti, which is
we have eaten at Yak and Yeti, the restaurant. It is very tiny and kind of packed and hard to sit in. Wheelchairs do not fit in there real well. They're better now, I think, now that COVID has happened. I think things were very packed when we went the first time. So I think that made a bit of a difference, but it's still not real comfortable area to sit in. And it's not run by Disney.
Right.
It is its own entity.
It's a Landry, isn't it?
Yes, it's a Landry restaurant. And so that makes a difference too, because they kind of run it according to their rules versus Disney rules. So, and so it was not, and there wasn't that much to see. To me, it was okay.
I'm going to say the same thing that she said. It's very cramped. It's not. It's more Asian.
It was definitely Asian
theme. Well, it's in Asia. Yeah. Now, if the next, and I'm gonna stay back with, I'm gonna go with the Yak and Yeti for now, and switch over to quick service real quick. They have a
real quick. Or are we gonna go on to quick services?
We might as well go on because the only other ones that we could talk about would be
Rainforest Cafe.
And there was one more, wasn't there? No, I think Rainforest was the only other one. And we've eaten there, but if you've eaten at one Rainforest, you've eaten under them all, and they're not. They're not my favorite.
We can kind of go on.
Okay.
I might mention Rainforest one more time.
Okay. Quick service. Since we ended at pretty much Yak and Yeti, I'm going to start at Yak and Yeti. Yak and Yeti, quick service, in my opinion, and I would think my opinion's right. Okay, I think it's better than the table service. Food wise, I mean, granted, you're not going to be sitting in an air conditioned restaurant and stuff, but I think the food is better. I don't know if it's better quality or is it just
it's a better price and you're not stuffed into anywhere.
Right.
So I mean, you may be getting the same meal, but you don't feel like you're on top of everybody getting the same meal.
Sometimes it does get crowded for the seating area.
Yeah.
But usually we've had pretty good luck of finding the spot. The only problem sometimes is that sometimes you're sitting in some direct sunlight or stuff.
Yeah.
There's it's hard to find a shaded table. That's about it. You're
getting things like honey sesame chicken and like the fried chicken sandwich. Both of those are better than like you would find in the Yak and Yeti, I think. And you also get a better. They're calling that a snack. Like if the meal plan comes back, they're calling that a snack, and I'm like, that's like a full meal to me. So I mean, it's kind of nice that you're getting it at a snack price. Like we were talking about earlier, having the big price, and not getting a lot of food. This is you get an awful lot of food. You're paying a little lesser for it. So
yeah, it's left to be determined yet of what's going to be considered a snack on this new dining plan versus the old one. However, with Yak and Yeti, they have a chicken fried rice.
Yes.
That was considered a snack credit.
I don't know if they still are going to have. I looked at them. I didn't see it anymore.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if
I was there, I think.
Okay, well then it may just not have been in front of me.
They had the chicken fried rice, and if it comes back, if it comes back, as a snack credit, it is very much worth the snack credit if you're on the dining plan, because it's another meal. You can eat it, and I mean it's not like a 4-course meal. It's a hearty thing, and I don't eat a lot of carbs anymore, but I like a good chicken fried rice, and then I just walk about 10,000 more steps.
It does give you, to me, they do give you kind of a better, and they give you a little. I will tell you right now, if you're really picky, you get really crummy silverware. So if you like a good thing of silverware, and definitely in Animal Kingdom, they don't have plastic, folks. So if you want to have a good straw, you need to bring your own.
Right when you said that, I was going like, here's the tip I forgot.
Yes, I forgot that.
Bring your own straws, whether it's a plastic straw, whether it's a metal straw or whatever. Right. And we remember it more because of Wyatt and stuff. And that's actually almost across the board in all of Disney right now. Straws, but definitely in in Animal Kingdom. It's just they don't do plastic because the birds eat it, and by the way, and that's another thing about stuff that you careful about the birds when you're eating, and
and especially at Animal Kingdom, the animals will take all of your food, and they're not really shy about taking it out of your hand.
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you a story when we get to one of the next ones that I'm going to talk about, and well, I guess I'll talk about it now. It's Flame Tree Barbecue.
I didn't see it. It is chicken fried rice is there, folks.
Okay. Flame Tree Barbecue is as you go into Dino Land, and ironically, a lot of times Jule and Corey,
I don't go there as much,
will go to Yak and Yeti for if we're doing a quick service lunch, which we do a lot there. They'll do that or somewhere else, and we'll go to me and the boys or or Nick and I will go to Flame Tree and eat barbecue. Flame Tree has very good barbecue. It's on par with the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. I think Regal Eagle has a little bit more sides and stuff, but one time we were there and literally I seen an egret get on the plate on the table, not on our table, but on the table a couple things down, where these two people were eating there, and the egret just started taking food from them, and they freaked, and the girls freaked out, and it was kind of funny. If let's put it this way, if somebody had their camera or their phone out, that would have been on YouTube like that. But it was just one of those things, and they have every once in a while they tell people, be wary, don't feed the animals, be wary of the animals.
Keep a lookout.
Yeah. And just because for one, if it could be harmful to the health of the animal, or it could be also harmful to them if they accidentally got pecked, or whatever. But back to Flame Tree, it has good barbecue. Again, not, as I said, not possibly the best. I will say that Polite Pig is the best barbecue on site.
Yeah, and I've never had Flame Tree to tell you, so I can't even weigh in on that.
But
that's okay. I think I've got a few that probably he has none of.
Go ahead.
My next one, is Satuli Canteen.
Well, that was going to be the only other one I was going to say.
Satuli Canteen has these bail buns, excuse me. The bail buns, actually, they're they look white on the outside, folks, but they are really kind of a doughy bread is what they are.
Almost look like a dumpling.
Yeah, they do look like a dumpling, but they're giant, and when you cut them open, there's cheeseburger on the inside. So they are really awesome. And then I guess
we're frozen.
I don't even think here.